The reason that people are chronically cooked is because they're unconsciously feeding their problems instead of acknowledging and being grateful for what they have. I am very grateful for this divine timing with you in the spirit of this time. And it seems to me like being more grateful for everything that we have and all that we are and all that we ever will be and how we experience life in of itself is going to be the antidote toward a lot of the issues going on. But it's also important not to get too caught up in the drama of the reality, right? Because that's all that it is. It's a drama. And it only exists because you're so invested into it. And you think that it exists. And even today, I found myself noticing an attachment. And this attachment was the attachment to being professional. You know, the attachment to trying to be something or someone, right? Because you see all these creators online and you see all these people consuming the creators' content, and it's almost as if the people haven't consumed a certain type of content in the last week or the last 2 weeks or even the last day, they're not even going to be capable of remembering or talking about anything else apart from what they've consumed. And this consumption-based mindset is really, I would say, I don't think it's like evil necessarily, because I don't operate that way, but I do think that it's hindering the potential progress that we could have if we were but more aware of these unconscious feedings of fear, the unconscious feedings of death, and focus more on mercy and depth, you know, rather than this surface level, like things are going, there's a lot of things that are going to go viral in the upcoming years, I think. And already they are. I mean, there's also a lot of content where I see what the creator of the content is doing, right? I see that they are being one with the jester archetype, while simultaneously they are trying to speak to something deeper in the person. And I can appreciate that, because that's exactly what I'm doing. Like, I'd love to hear more feedback about the full sack content that I've been doing, because it's partially because it is funny, but I'm also speaking to a deeper part of you. Like, I want the full sack content to be associated with Regal Change. With the Regal Change brand, I want the full sack meme to be associated with Regal Change. And I think that that's going to be a way that we can speak to an audience at a deeper level. But I want to know your feedback, right? Because I see it already happening in the comments where people are taking on the unconscious product of this meme, you might say, or this thought algorithm, and they're creating their own versions of it. Like I saw one of the comments is like full sack attack or big ball bros, you know, assemble or whatever. And it's just, I love seeing that, because to me that tells me that there's something deeper being spoken to in you when I have this type of content. And I think that if we can cultivate as a community, as a people, like, we don't have to be cooked, right? We don't have to be everybody else. Because, things can go viral and things can go like all that. But have you ever noticed that, like, if you're a creator out there, if you've seen any type of content ever that's gone viral, you see a lot of the viral types of personalities that are presenting themselves in the collective consciousness. I mean, they're leeches, man. And, you know, it's like a virus mind, right? It's a viral mind. It's not really I don't see going viral as something that is important to me and my brand with Regal Change specifically, or just really anything. What I want to be doing is I want to be, instead of going viral, because I just don't even like that language, I want to be producing everlasting fruit so that anybody who partakes of that fruit will be spiritually nourished to a degree in which they can have this technique of ecstasy, you might say, where you see and recognize that it's very important to have compassion for these people that are in the mind virus. Because, like, in the Hindu religion, they talk about Hanuman. And Hanuman is the monkey king, or the monkey deity, right? I guess you could see him as a monkey king. But he says, in one of the stories, he says, when I don't know who I am, I serve you. When I know who I am you. And boy, oh boy, man, like that really turns Jesus Christ's teaching in the Bible of love your neighbor as yourself in a completely different way. It completely transforms your viewpoint, right? And so I suppose for me, this attachment that I had today was me being attached to my professionalism of the Regal Academy being a righteous institution, and my godlike mastery being, a professional, transformative process in which people will invest in themselves to get certain types of results. And I'm investing identity in these things rather than just being with them. And I noticed that today, and I was like, oh, okay, that fantastic. Okay. I don't push out these attachments anymore. I invite them into the space of my own psyche and my own mind so that I can reflect on them, and I basically have coffee with them, or I go outside and I just chill out with them, right? Like I chill out with these attachments now and understand where they're really coming from and what they're trying to attach to, so that I can let them go a little bit easier. And because here's the thing, like, we're not going to get rid of those things that make us human, right? Like, we're not going to get rid of the crookedness of this civilization that we live in. But what we can do is integrate it. Instead of trying to push it away, we accept it, but we don't cling to it, and we don't try to push it away either. We don't try to push it. We don't try to force it to stay. We just allow us to be ourselves with it. And I think that one of the reasons why people are cooked, and chronically cooked at that, is simply because they're unable to have this self-reflective capacity. And so I guess part of me got frustrated with my attachment, because I feel as though, like Thaddeus, the entity Thaddeus feels as though he's speaking to depth in a way that is completely and unequivocally more precious as far as a message than some of these viral posts and people and creators out here. And I found myself being a little bit jealous, but I wasn't jealous because of the creator. I was jealous because I guess it really wasn't jealousy. What was it exactly? I mean, it really was just an attachment to my professionalism, really. It was just like, I feel as though I'm speaking to something deeper that's going to help more people. And people are choosing the jester instead of the sage. They're choosing the jester. And so that's one of the reasons why I've done like the full sack titles recently is because I'm experimenting not only with myself but also with the people. Like, how are we going to grow with this? And is it possible to grow with this? And I definitely think it is, and I already see it's playing a significant factor, but I want more feedback, and I want more accurate and appropriate feedback. I don't want I guess that's really what I'm looking for. Is I'm looking for accurate feedback, because when I see these viral creators who really have nothing significant to say, like, yeah, they're saying some good things, but they're not saying anything that's like really them, right? They're just saying talking points because they're saying talking points, and that's what's going to get information out to the public, and that's how they're going to get paid. Whereas myself, I'm really aiming to bring a message of peace and prosperity and abundance and truth and mercy and love and compassion. And it seems like it's getting overlooked. And I know that's not the case, because I know, like, it's a thief is the comparison of joy, right? Or comparison is the thief of joy. Yeah, so I know that. And I know that I'm my own thief in the situation. So I'm speaking through it with you guys because I'm helping you. Like, I'm not the helper, right? I'm just the being that is the education of what's happening. I'm not the educator. I'm not the helper. I'm the education that is helping. That's the way that I see it. And I think that's a more healthy way to see it, because if I attach myself to being the helper or the educator, I'm putting myself and you in a perpetual state of separation, because I'm falling, not necessarily falling in love. That's not the right phrasing, because we're so used to saying this type of thing. I'm being in love with the universe. And it feels like I'm remembering how to be in love with the universe. That's what it feels like, you know? And I see that these people are chronically cooked because they're incapable of being in love with themselves. They're incapable of self-respecting themselves. And it seems to me also that I suppose, again, it's like this philosophical side of me that I don't want to be seen as a philosopher. Well, here's what I'll say then. Who do you say that I am? When Jesus Christ said this to his disciples, right? He's like, well, who do you say that I am? I'm not saying you're my disciple, but what I'm saying is well, who do you say that I am? Who do you say that Regal Change, the brand, is? Who do you say? Because people are just so cooked. I want to know how to serve you better. I want to know how to truly serve you and your spirit better, because I don't want my attachments of who I think I should be or need to be somebody, get in the way of actually serving you. So I'm genuinely asking for, good feedback here, because, well, you're me, like, you're me, and I'm you, and we're all one. I mean, communication is going to be so key in the upcoming years, especially with all the misinformation and, the wars and everything. I mean, it's just, we live in a day and age where truth and knowledge and wisdom is really going to be the creme de la creme of society. And until we can fully recognize the oneness of one another, I don't think that we can truly transcend what's going to come. And, if the world ends, the world ends. I mean, if people are cooked, people are cooked. I mean, so what? It's like, have the so mentality, not even mentality, just the approach when you're doing these things, and when you're talking through these things with yourself and with other people. I mean, it's just profound, the kinds of dialogues people just don't seem to have, because they're so invested in the attachment. And I want to be letting go so much that there is just this isness. right? There is just this timelessness. The Regal Change old timers are fully aware of what I'm talking about here, because the sense of timelessness is going to be the antidote to all of our presuppositions of how we view the lens of reality in the modern day time. I mean, it's so fascinating to see the lack of depth in people, and they're almost they're wanting to be entertained. And I don't want to speak to those types of people. I don't want to speak to the people that want to just be entertained. I want to speak to the people that want to integrate. I just don't have time for the masses anymore, I guess. And yet at the same time, there's a part of me that wants to attach myself to the masses because, well, I see them as part of the soul of existence. I see them as part of the oneness. And yet at the same time, we just have, so many F's to give in a day. But anyways, that's kind of what I've been thinking about, I suppose. And, it snowed earlier. You wouldn't really believe it outside, like now that I'm outside with my shirt off. But yeah, it snowed earlier and now it's beautiful, man. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. I love when I can just sit in the sun and chill. I definitely feel as though my thoughts are more fluid and active when I'm in the sun. And so I can be more, and I can not be more, but just be grounded more in that massivity of abundance, right? And be grounded more in the aptitude of luminousness. Yeah, being grounded in the aptitude of luminousness. I think that's a good way to phrase it. Because this luminous quality of life just emanates through you more and more and more. And things just become more and more beautiful. And even when you're going through like the processing of these old timelines, right? Or these old attachments, that is a very beautiful thing, because remember, that which burns was not really your soul. It was your ego. And so you can integrate a better and healthy ego. I really don't like to say better, but you see what I'm saying. You can integrate a healthier ego by letting that which is old and needing to die by living the truth. Focus on living the truth. Let go of the chronically cooked people and simply be. I suppose that's really all that it is boiling down to. And being, this is part of the process of being, and not approaching these attachments with shame or guilt or anything. That's going to be another key factor for you. So with all that being said, I hope that this message is useful and insightful for you. Do check out the Godlike Mastery offer that I have. Apply for it. It does look like I'm only going to have 2 spots for May opened up. So be sure to check that out if you have the finances and the time to make that investment in yourself. Otherwise, the Regal Academy or one-on-ones will be a better option for you. So with that being said, stay blessed, peace, and until next time.